Snowfall totals across the eastern United States. That is what we were going to examine today. The models have been showing some interesting developments, and I want to walk you through what's happening, what's likely to happen, and what you need to know. Let me start with where we are right now. The contrast across the country is remarkable. Right now in eastern Colorado, temperatures dropped to 17 degrees this morning. Wind chills down around 5 degrees. That is the Arctic air mass we are going to be discussing. Compare that to what's happening along the Gulf Coast. From Texas through Louisiana and into Mississippi, conditions have been warm and humid, temperatures running 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Mississippi saw severe weather and tornado warnings earlier today. That warm, unstable air has been sitting over the region. South Carolina has been dealing with rainy conditions, near record warmth this week. That changes dramatically starting Sunday. Missouri has had a particularly quiet winter so far. Temperatures hovering around 40 degrees. Calm conditions. Almost boring if you are a winter weather enthusiast. That extended mild spell ends next week when the pattern flips. Northeast Florida has enjoyed perfect weather for the past 10 days. Clear skies, comfortable temperatures, that is going to feel like a distant memory by Friday. And then there's the Northeast. Many of you in Maryland have been waiting for snow. 2 years without a major storm in some areas. This pattern shift has potential. I am not going to promise anything until we see how these systems develop, but the setup is there. South central Wisconsin was seeing rain this morning. As of this recording, some areas are already reporting snow starting to fall. That is how quickly this transition is happening. The system is moving through fast. Now let me explain what's driving all of this. We have a significant pattern change underway. The jet stream configuration is shifting. We've been locked in a ridge pattern across the western United States. That ridge has been keeping warm air flowing up from the south and southwest. That's why places like Missouri and the Gulf Coast have been so mild. But that is changing. The ridge is beginning to break down. At the same time, we are seeing a trough develop across the eastern half of the country. This trough is going to allow Arctic air to spill southward, not just a little cold air. We are talking about a legitimate Arctic outbreak. Let me show you what the models are indicating. The GFS model has been aggressive with snowfall totals, very aggressive. The 12Z run from this morning showed a major snowstorm affecting almost the entire East Coast. From Florida through New England, substantial snowfall. The GEFS ensemble members are also coming in strong. Multiple ensemble members showing significant snow. Now here's where I need to be honest with you. The GFS has not been the most reliable model this season for medium and long-range snowfall predictions. It tends to be enthusiastic, sometimes overly so. The European model, the ECMWF, has been more accurate this winter. It correctly predicted 2 5 to 6 inch storms for the New York City and Long Island area around Christmas, both verified within a week of each other. So where does the Euro stand on this system? As of the latest run, it's more conservative. It shows the system, but it's weaker and more suppressed to the coast. The GFS has been trending the track westward with each successive run. That's good news for interior areas. But we need to see if that trend continues or if it jumps back east. Let me talk about model agreement and confidence levels. When the GFS and the Euro agree, confidence goes up significantly. Right now, they are not in complete agreement. The GFS is showing a more robust, more westward tracking system. The Euro is showing a weaker coastal system. That spread tells us we are still several days out. Things can and will change. The NAM model, which is more of a short-range model, hasn't really picked this up yet in detail because we are still too far out for its domain. The HRR model, which is very short-range, want to be useful until we are within 18 to 24 hours of the event. What does this mean for different regions? Let's break it down geographically. And I want to be clear. These are potential impacts based on current model guidance, not a forecast. Things will change. For the Deep South, places like northern Florida, southern Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, this is an unusual setup. The GFS has been showing snow as far south as Jacksonville. That's remarkable if it verifies. Memphis, Tennessee might end up with less than Jacksonville. That shows you how dependent this is on the exact track. The European model keeps most of the significant snow near the coast for these areas. The question is whether the energy digs far enough west and remains strong enough to generate precipitation across the interior south. If the low-pressure system tracks close to the coast, the Carolinas and Georgia coast could see significant snow. If it tracks further inland, that shifts everything westward, moving up to the mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, eastern Pennsylvania. This is where the model disagreement becomes critical. The GFS has been trending more favorable for these areas, showing substantial snowfall, 6 inches, 8 inches, some areas even more. The Euro has been less generous. It keeps the heaviest snow more coastal. Eastern shore areas, the immediate coast. Many of you in Maryland have asked about this. You've gone 2 years in some areas without a major snowstorm. The pattern is setting up in a way that could support it. But I am not going to tell you it is definite until we see better model agreement. Check back over the next few days. Watch for the Euro to trend westward or the GFS to trend back east. That'll tell us a lot. For the Northeast, from New Jersey through New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, up into New Hampshire and Maine, the GFS has shown impressive totals, 2 feet or more for some areas. The North Shore of Massachusetts showing very high amounts. Long Island could see substantial snow. But here's the reality. The Northeast has seen this movie before. Models show big snowfall totals a week out, then the storm either goes out to sea or weakens. It's frustrating. I understand that. The key is going to be the storm track. If the low-pressure tracks along the 40-degree north latitude line or just south of it, the I-95 corridor gets hammered. If it tracks too far east, you get a coastal event with the heaviest snow over water. If it tracks too far west, you get rain along the coast and snow inland. The Cape and Islands off Massachusetts have a better chance of seeing snow with almost any track because they further east. But for Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, it comes down to those 50 miles of track variation. Now let's talk about the Appalachian region. Western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, southwestern Virginia, northern Georgia. The GFS has shown some good snowfall for the higher elevations. The mountains could do well with this system. Fannin County in Georgia, right on the ridge of the Appalachians, historically sees snow dip right down into that area. The eastern slope follows the ridge. If you live there, you know what I am talking about. The 93 superstorm put some areas under 3 feet of snow. 6-foot drifts, 6-foot icicles. People snowed in for 7 days. This system want to be 93. Let me be clear about that. But it could bring significant snow to the mountains. Watch the freezing line. That is going to be critical. If cold air gets scoured out of the valleys before the precipitation arrives, you get rain instead of snow. The Tri-Cities area in Tennessee, places like Johnson City, it's always a close call. If the cold holds, they could see snow. If it doesn't, they miss. For the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, this is more about the cold air than this particular storm. The pattern that setting up will support lake effect snow, significant lake effect. Until Lake Michigan freezes over, areas downwind are at risk for heavy snow. LaPorte County in Indiana, the lakeshore areas of Michigan, western New York. The cold air moving over the relatively warm lake water will generate bands of snow. Chicago is going to see frigid temperatures, wind chills well below zero. This is January in Chicago. It's not unusual, but it's going to be sustained cold, multiple days of it. The cold matters for lake effect snow production. The colder and longer the cold lasts, the more snow piles up in the snow belts. Michigan, particularly Metro Detroit, has seen some ensemble members showing decent snowfall, 21 ensemble members showing snow in one of the recent runs. That's encouraging if you waiting for snow there. But remember, ensembles show possibilities, not certainties. The mean of the ensembles is what matters most. Let me address Pennsylvania directly. Pittsburgh has been asking if they are going to get slammed. The pattern supports the possibility of a significant storm or two, not just this system, but over the next few weeks. The teleconnections look favorable. The PNA might go positive again. If the MJO phases into 8 and 1 at the end of the month, and these teleconnections hold, the floodgates could open for winter weather. But that's looking further out. For this immediate system, Pittsburgh's snowfall will depend on track. An inland track favors you. A coastal track leaves you with less. Now, I need to talk about timing. When is this happening? The GFS has been showing this for late this weekend into early next week. Sunday night into Monday for many areas. The Euro has similar timing but with a weaker system. As we get closer, the timing will become more precise. For anyone asking about Friday, There is a separate system, a clipper moving through. That is a different event. Short duration, quick moving. Some areas could see accumulating snow from that, but it's not the major event we've been discussing. That is the Sunday into Monday time frame system. What about the pattern beyond this system? This is important. We were not just looking at one storm. The pattern that S setting up could support multiple events. The extended range models, the CFS, the Euro extended, they re-showing sustained cold. The Euro is particularly cold for the week of January 25th through 30th. We re-talking about extreme cold, life-threatening cold in some areas. The Climate Prediction Center has issued a moderate risk for dangerous cold from the 24th through the 28th. Wind chills of 60 below zero or colder are possible in parts of the upper Midwest. That S, dangerous. That S, the kind of cold that closes schools, that keeps people indoors, that threatens anyone who has to be outside. Multiple clipper systems will move through during this cold pattern, each one capable of dropping snow. High snow ratios too. Very dry, fluffy snow because of the cold, the kind that blows around easily. Drifting will be an issue. Snow will accumulate over multiple events. It's not just one storm, it as a pattern. This is what happens when the jet stream locks into a favorable configuration for winter weather in the east. We haven't seen this kind of sustained pattern in several years in many areas. Let me talk about uncertainty and what to watch. First, watch the model trends. If the GFS continues trending westward, that increases snowfall for interior areas and decreases it for the coast. If it jumps back east, the opposite happens. If the Euro starts trending westward to match the GFS, confidence goes way up. Second, watch the strength of the system. A stronger low pressure produces more precipitation, more lift, more dynamics. A weaker system produces less. The Euro has been showing a weaker system. If it strengthens in subsequent runs, that changes the forecast. Third, watch the thermal profiles. Where is the rain-snow line? This is critical for the mid-Atlantic and areas near the coast. A difference of 1 or 2 degrees determines whether you see rain or snow. The latest runs have to be analyzed for temperature trends. Fourth, watch for the southern stream energy. Is it strong enough? Does it phase properly with the northern stream? If the phasing happens too early or too late, it affects the track and intensity. Now let me address something I've seen in discussions. Some people are saying this is clickbait, that meteorologists are exaggerating, that we've become soft and anything gets called a major storm now. I understand that frustration. Back in 78, 79, the early 90s, we had brutal winters. 3 feet of snow wasn't unusual in some areas. Temperatures 20 below zero for days. We survived. We dealt with it. This current situation is not being oversold. If the GFS is correct, this would be a significant snowstorm. Not the apocalypse, not the end of the world, but significant. Worth preparing for, worth taking seriously. Winter means snow. This is winter. But it's also not something to ignore. For those of you who remember the 93 superstorm, you know what a real historic event looks like. This isn't that. But it could be a meaningful winter storm for areas that haven't seen one in years. Let me talk about preparation. What should you be doing? First, monitor the forecast. Check back daily. Things will change. By Friday, we'll have much better clarity. By Saturday, we'll know with high confidence who gets what. Second, if you were in an area that could see significant snow, make sure you have supplies. Not because this is an emergency, but because it's smart planning. Food that doesn't require cooking if you lose power, sandwich supplies, batteries, flashlights, medications, pet food if you have animals. Third, check your winter equipment, snow shovels, ice melt. If your car could get stuck, cat litter under the tires works, increases traction, better than sand, costs $3. Many of you already know this trick. For those who don tea, keep a bag in your trunk. Fourth, if you are in the upper Midwest where the extreme cold is forecast, take that seriously. Frostbite can occur in minutes with those wind chills. Limit time outdoors. Dress in layers. Cover exposed skin. Check on elderly neighbors and family members. Make sure they have heat. Make sure they re-okay. Fifth, if you are in Florida and facing unusual cold, remember most Floridians don tea own heavy winter coats. That is understandable. Multiple thin layers work better than trying to find a parka. A long sleeve shirt, a sweater, a jacket. Layers trap air and insulate. Sixth, don tea shovel once and be done if you are in heavy snow. You'll need to shovel multiple times. Or better yet, Wait until the snow ends and do it once. Pacing yourself prevents injury and saves energy. For those dealing with temperature swings, the back and forth from warm to cold, that ends when the sustained cold arrives Wednesday. I know people have been sick for weeks. Sinus issues, migraines, the temperature whiplash has been rough. That pattern changes to sustained cold. It won to be comfortable, but at least it'll be consistent. Let me address some specific questions I've seen. Will Central Alabama see snow? For this system, we need the energy to dig west and remain strong enough to generate precipitation through the south. The GFS today showed that and brought snow into your area. The Euro this afternoon was weaker and confined snow to the coast. Plenty of time for it to trend either way. Will Cincinnati get more snow than Detroit? Maybe for this event, but by the time winter is over, Detroit could still come out ahead. The pattern setting up over the next few weeks could benefit both areas. Is Pittsburgh finally going to get a big snowstorm? The pattern supports it. Whether it's this system or one of the next ones, you've got a shot. Will the Triad area in North Carolina see snow? You're often in that marginal zone. It comes down to track and temperature. A little colder, a little further west, you're in business. A little warmer, a little further east, you miss. Watch the trends. What about Goldsboro, North Carolina, and Wayne County? Same answer. You are close enough that a westward trend helps you. An eastward trend hurts you. Oklahoma, you re-asking about snow. This system doesn't look great for you. You need the western ridge to move west or a southern stream system to develop. Right now, neither is happening. But the pattern change could open the door later this month. Texas, particularly Dallas, you are in the same boat. Not much happening down that way with this system. Really need different dynamics. If a threat pops up for your area, it'll get coverage. But for now, focus is on the east. For those in the Rockies and out west asking for coverage, I understand. Most weather discussion focuses on the east, that S where the population centers are. But I hear you. The West matters too. Now, let me talk about confidence levels. How confident am I in any of this? For the pattern change, very confident. High confidence that we are transitioning to a colder pattern. The ridge is breaking down. The trough is developing. Arctic air is spilling south. That S happening. For the specific storm system Sunday into Monday, moderate confidence. We know something is going to happen. We don't know exactly where or how strong. That uncertainty is normal at this range. It's honest meteorology. For snowfall totals, low to moderate confidence. Too much uncertainty in track and intensity. Anyone giving you specific snowfall amounts right now for Sunday is guessing. Educated guessing, perhaps, but guessing. We need another 48 to 72 hours of model runs. For the extended cold pattern, moderate to high confidence. Multiple models showing it. The teleconnections support it. The ensemble means support it. It's coming. What should you take away from all of this? 1. A pattern change is underway. Colder air is coming. Multiple systems are possible over the next few weeks. 2. This weekend into early next week features a potential significant snowstorm for parts of the East Coast. The details are still uncertain. 3. Prepare now, but don't panic. This is winter. Snow happens. Cold happens. We deal with it. 4. Check back for updates. Things will change. Models will trend. By Friday, we'll know much more. I want to close with this. Weather forecasting has gotten much better over the years. We can see these patterns developing days in advance, but we still can't predict exactly where every snowflake will fall a week out. There's inherent uncertainty. That S, not a failure of meteorology. That S, the atmosphere. It is chaotic. It's complex. Small changes in initial conditions create large changes in outcomes. What we can do is identify the pattern, explain the meteorology, give you the information you need to make informed decisions. That's what I've tried to do here today. For those dealing with illness in your families, my thoughts are with you. The flu has been bad this year. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay warm. Stay safe. And if this storm does materialize, enjoy it if you can. Many of you love snow. Many of you have been waiting for it. If it happens, make the most of it. I'll have updates as new model runs come in. Keep watching, keep preparing, and remember, this is just weather. We've dealt with winter before. We'll deal with it again. Thank you for your